Do you worry about safety when you're traveling solo? Well, you're not alone, especially if you're over 60. The truth is, solo travel is much safer than many people imagine. And no, it's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. In this video, I'll share some practical tips I've learned over the years, some the hard way, as you'll hear. These are simple strategies that help keep both you and your belongings safe so you can focus on what matters most, enjoying your trip. Now, let's start with some perspective. Most travelers don't need to worry about violent crime. It's rare. The bigger issues are petty theft, pickpocketing, and scams, especially in busy tourist areas. The good news is that these are avoidable with a few smart habits. Start before you even leave. Know before you go. Check travel advisories, research common scams at your destination, and learn what's considered respectful and what isn't. When I arrive, I always ask at the hotel reception or Airbnb host about areas to avoid, especially at night. I think local advice is worth its weight in gold. And while you're out, stay aware of your surroundings. Even when you're unsure about where you're going, walk with purpose. If you need to check a map, duck into a shop or a cafe. Don't stop mid-sidewalk, gawking around and looking lost. This turns you into a magnet for scam artists and crooks. And when the sun goes down, your habits should shift a little. Stick to well-lit streets. Avoid quiet parks or shortcuts down alleys. And if you're heading out in the evening, consider using an Uber or an official taxi rather than walking alone. Choose accommodations with good security, and if you can, avoid rooms with street-level windows or doors. Now, let me tell you about the time I got pickpocketed in Paris. It happened on the metro. I was standing on the escalator when someone moved in front of me, and just as we were about to get off the escalator, he dropped his subway ticket and backed into me so that he could pick it up. This made me take a step back to avoid a collision. And at that exact moment, an accomplice who was standing on the stair right behind me slipped their hand into my pocket, grabbed my wallet, and passed it to the man in front, who took off like a shot. By the time I reached the platform, my wallet, along with all my cash and credit cards, was gone. No backup, no way to pay for dinner, and no quick fix. Luckily, I reported the theft immediately to my credit card company, and they covered the losses that were racked up within the hour. That's when I learned a lesson the hard way. Now I never keep all my money and cards in one place. And on another occasion, a woman on the street told me that my backpack was unzipped. Friendly enough, she even offered to zip it up for me. What I didn't realize that while she was zipping up one section, she was quietly opening another. Or maybe the zipper wasn't even undone in the first place. I got back to the hotel and noticed that a favorite piece of clothing had vanished. The lesson? Don't let strangers handle your bag. Thank them and check it yourself. So here's what works best. Divide your money and cards. Keep a backup credit card separate in your hotel safe or a hidden pouch. Carry a limited amount of cash, just what you'll need for the day. Maybe use a money belt or a neck pouch worn under your clothes. These are your last line of defense. If you carry a bag, make it cross-body. Keep it in front of you, zipped, and never hang it on the back of a chair at a cafe. Leave expensive jewelry at home. Dress simply. You want to enjoy your trip, not draw attention. Pickpockets love crowds. Subways, markets, tourist sites. They know you're distracted there. And if I have to stand on the subway, I press the pocket that holds my phone or wallet right up against the pole that I'm holding on to. Or I pick a seat where I can sit tight up against a barrier. That makes it much harder for someone to have ready access to my belongings. Have you ever had a close call while you're traveling? Or maybe you've got your own safety tip to share. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear it. Now, safety isn't just about theft, it's also about your health. First of all, make sure you have travel medical insurance, especially for medical emergencies. And you should be aware that most credit card company medical insurance policies that come with the card don't cover people over 70. Learn basic phrases like how to ask for help if you need it or to get directions. Keep a list of key contacts and of how to reach someone back home in the event of an emergency. And be sure that that person also knows where to find you and have access to documents that might be necessary. It also doesn't hurt to carry a small first aid kit with a few band aids and maybe some simple pain relievers. Listen to your instincts. If a situation feels off, leave. Be especially cautious in situations where alcohol is flowing freely. I enjoy a glass of wine with dinner or a beer in the sun on a patio, but that's it. I don't want to be the person who is vulnerable because my judgment is off. If I'm out after 10, I'm sober and I stay in control. If you're a solo female traveler, a few extra precautions may help. Trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, move on. Be vague if strangers ask you if you're traveling alone. Say you're meeting a friend. You may want to carry a cheap dummy wallet with you that you can hand over if needed. I have an old wallet with some expired plastic cards and a bit of cash in it that I could hand over in a pinch, keeping my real card and cash tucked away safely. And always double check ride share details before you get into the vehicle. But travel is meant to be fun, not stressful. Yes, I learned a few lessons the hard way, but that's how I figured out what works. Now I feel confident and relaxed when I travel solo. And you can too. See you next time. Safe travels.